with Stephen. This is week 5, I think, maybe 6. I should know, but I don't. If you want to get a little extra, these are all recorded. So Brian has on the I Am Oswego Fit website. So if you go to the Oswego website, oswego.edu, and you can search for the fitness centers, there's a link to all of our previous classes. So if you wanted to kind of, they're all fairly similar, but they're all a little different too. We don't get to quite do as much mindfulness activities as we do in person. Typically my classes, for those of you that have attended in person, before our quarantine, we've done some mindful eating. We do a chocolate meditation, and we've done some sound baths, and we've done some walking meditation, which is cool. This is me walking with my hands. But I hope that through this process, my goal is to bring you to the present moment. That being the fundamental core of what mindfulness is. So if you can imagine, worrying about the past is the biggest example. Or not even worrying, ruminating, spending time there, pretty much. Oh, we've got a hello, welcome. If you'd like to turn on your camera, that would be awesome. But you don't have to. So time that we're in the past, or time that we're worrying about the future, then we're not in the present. That's the only 3 options, right? Is past, present, or future, unless you're into like some type of interdimensional theory that I don't know about. But you're not here, and that's kind of scary when you really think about it. So our goal with mindfulness is to bring you back here. So through this practice today, your mind is going to wander. That's the way minds do. Minds are an organ that create thought. So trying not to think isn't going to work. And judging yourself for having your mind wander will make things worse. Because then you'll be like, oh, why can't I pay attention? Why can't I focus longer, right? So as John Kabat-Zinn likes to say, the moment you have become aware that your mind has wandered, you're already back. So he says you should say, welcome home, which I quite like. So I'm home here on my mat on the beautiful Glimmerglass gym for the 5th week in a row, all by myself. It's a bit eerie. And I find myself in a seated position. I invite you to join me there as well. If you don't have a yoga mat, a couple of you said you did not, double over or triple over some blankets or towels. I try not to spend a ton of time on our knees, but invariably we're there a little bit. At any time during this practice, if you need to modify what you're doing, that's totally fine. If you need to, at any point in this class, I'll offer a couple of different variations of different poses. Do not feel like you need to be anywhere. Your journey is your journey. Your practice is your practice. At any time, if I do something that doesn't feel right to you, and I guide you there, then feel free to come back into child's pose or to revert to the previous pose and stay there a little longer. You are your best teacher. You know what you need, whether you know that or not. I'm sorry, this white balance has gone crazy on this camera, isn't it? So a couple things about Zoom. Hi, we got a few more people. Hi. So for those who are just joining us, I really hate that on Zoom I have to send the same message over and over because those folks who just joined us won't see that link that I sent earlier. So for those of you that joined us a little late, there's a link I just put in the chat window, which is an ambient soundtrack on SoundCloud that you can click and open in another tab or another device if you'd like a little accompanying music to this practice. I'm gonna return to my breath. So I will say that throughout this practice from time to time, I'll say return to our breath. And what I mean by that is have a experience with your breath that is in the present moment. So often breath, our most essential essence of life, we're not there. So that means consciously observe your breath. So I'm going to invite you to find a seated position like I'm in. I'm actually in easy pose, which is rare for me. So crisscross applesauce, like in school, that's one. I like half lotus as well, where you tuck that top leg a little higher, bringing that heel in towards the hip. If that's too much for you, but you want to move on from easy pose, you can use fire logs. Fire logs pose is kind of rare. It's the underdog. I'm always talking about it. It's where shins are stacked one on top of each other, ankle to knee. If you would like to move a little further from half lotus, you can come all the way up into full lotus, where we tuck both of those heels on top of the thigh. That's always a bit deep for me, so I'm going to back out and just go to half lotus. Through our warm-up here, I will give you some instruction and invite you to switch legs so that we can get a balance. If you're in gallery view, you'll notice I have two camera views. I have this one here, which is by default, if you're in speaker view, that's the one that will display. If you can't see what I'm doing for a pose, or you're like, what's going on there exactly, you can hop into gallery view, which is an option at the top of the window of Zoom, and you can see this kind of side angle view that's over here as well. And then there's the mirrors, which hopefully help you. Okay, let's find our breath, shall we? So, in a seated position, let's draw those shoulder blades down and back, right? We're gonna try and pinch those shoulder blades back like you're drawing your elbows together behind you. And then just rest your hands. They can be palms up receptively on legs. They can be crossed in your lap or even down by your side, whatever works best for you. I'm gonna be palms up receptively. And we're just going to I invite you to close your eyes, or if you're not comfortable closing your eyes, you can cap your eyes slightly so you can kind of lower your upper eyelid to kind of fuzz your focus. And I invite you to observe your breath. Where is it at right now? What are you doing? There's no need to change it right now. How are you breathing? Now, again, invariably, once we start observing something, we'll change it, and that's okay. But that's yet again something to observe. So is it a little shallow? Is it in the upper portion of the lung, maybe? Maybe it's quick. Maybe you're rushing here and nervous because you were a little late. Or maybe it's deep and slow. And in watching things with our breath, invariably I'll end up noticing and watching things in my body. If you're watching me on camera, you might have noticed my left shoulder was slightly creeped up, and in that last breath I went, So often we're holding things that we don't know. So we're going to try and stay upright in the spine. And the reason for that is we want to keep that airway open. So we don't want to be concave or convex in the spine. We want to be upright. We can imagine a string pulling us right from the crown of our head, the little cow's lick there, right up. A little tilt, forward tilt to the head. Once again, shoulders are down and back. Lead with the heart. So heart's open. And now I am going to instruct you, let's breathe in through our nose, and we're going to do a three-parted breath, okay? First, get it all out. Blow it all out. And I bet you still have more, but get it all out. Breathing in through the nose, we're going to breathe into the belly first. So all the way in the nose, down into the belly, like filling a glass of water. So that's the first third of our breath. So sending that belly out. And when you feel like you're kind of filled here, we're now going to expand the chest and breathe a second third up into the upper lung, up into the chest. And we can imagine this expansion of the rib cage and filling that upper lung. And then lastly, up into the neck and even the head. Might be shallow up there. We can top it off like you're smelling a cupcake or a flower. I don't know. Instead of cupcake. And then on the way out, let's blow out through the nose and mouth in the same third. So out through the nose and mouth from the head and neck. And then a little pause. And now from the neck down through the chest, letting that rib cage naturally rotate inwards. And now from the belly, pulling that navel in towards the spine. Breathing in again. 1/3. And pause. Up into the chest. Widening the rib cage, leading with the heart, shoulders down and back. And now topping it off. All up into the head and neck. Hold it. Retain that breath. We call it retaining when we're at the top of the breath. And blowing out. First from the head, relaxing in the neck. Then from the chest, down to about the sternum. And now drawing that navel in, pulling that navel in towards our spine. One more time. In through the nose. And hold. And 1/3. And hold. And all the way top it off. And hold. Retain. Breathing out from the head. Out from the chest. And out from the belly. This time sustain, so don't take a breath in. Stay hollow. Empty. Breathing in. 1/3. 1/3. Opening that chest. And all the way in. Holding at the top, retaining that breath. The shoulders are going to want to creep up, keep them down. Out through the nose and mouth. Now through the chest. Drawing those your rib cage in. Drawing that navel in towards the spine. All the way, get it all out. You got more breath in you. One last deep breath all the way in now. No thirds, all the way in. Deepest breath yet from the belly first. Up into the chest. Up into the head. Top it off. Retain. And then all the way out. Reach the bottom. Pull the navel. 2 more all the way in. Top it off. Retain. Shoulders down. Long necks. Small tilt to the head. Easy eyes. And out. All the way out. Pulling that navel in. Sustain. No breath. Take note of what happens in between those breaths in and out. Can you hear your heartbeat? Deep breath in. Top it off. Hold. Listen. Out. Listen. Okay, great. Let that breath come back to a regular pace, breathing in and out. But take note, I'm going to switch legs as you switch legs. Bring a little balance into our posture. Take notice of how different your breath is as we just take a few more breaths in your own time. Of how different it was from the moment you started. Eyes closed. That left shoulder might just keep on to creep up, buddy. Roll down. Shoulders down. Heart forward. Easy breath. Nice. Okay, so still in this position, my left leg's on top of my right. I'm actually going to pull that in, not be lazy. Come into a nice half lotus. Crossing my hands in front of me, I'm going to stretch all the way out my arms, all the way to the ceiling. And we can do a little apple picking. We stretch the left and then the right. There's just an apple out of reach, being pulled up by our middle fingers. Ears should be between the shoulders. Drishti straight up towards the ceiling. Deep breath in. Seated volcano. Exhale. Hinging at the waist. Bending over the legs. Folding forward. Ooh, seated forward fold. Exhaling over the legs. In the pose, deep breath. So don't move. Stay in this breath, in this pose. Deep breath here. Noticing how the breath changes the stretch. Exhaling. You can go a little further. And inhale, chin to chest, draping those fingers towards the edge of the mat, towards your knees, rolling up through the spine, visualizing the vertebrae stacking one on top of each other like coins, rolling up the spine. The last thing to come up is the head. Two more just like that. Cross the arms in front of us, deep inhale. And we can counter from side to side. And exhaling forward. Slow and controlled. Letting go of the head and neck. Head should be between, ears should be between the shoulders. Deep breath in the pose. Noticing how that expansion maybe shifts that stretch to a different part of your body, a different awareness. Exhale, use that space in the exhale. Maybe a little further. On the inhale, chin comes to chest, rolling up the spine. Stacking those vertebrae in your mind's eye. Slow as we can. Last thing to come up is the head. And I'm going to switch legs again. Last time like this, inhale up. And exhale forward. Fingertips outstretch. Maybe try and challenge yourself. Walk them a little further forward. Deep breath in the pose. This time on the exhale, let's walk those fingers over to our left side so our shoulders frame our left knee. Really walk those fingertips of that right hand forward. Trying to square ourselves up at a 45-degree angle. Deep inhale in the pose. And exhale, see if we can go a little farther with that newfound space. Deep inhale. And with the inhale, let's swing back to center. Visit center for a second. Exhale, stretch a little further. Inhale, we back off ever so slightly to make some space. And lock those hands over to frame the opposite leg. Coming a bit of a twist here. Framing our right knee with our shoulders. Exhaling. Relaxing over that way. Deep inhale in the pose. Exhale, swing forward and center. Try the little. Excellent. Bring that chin to our chest. Drape those hands back along the floor. What's that floor feel like? Check in with your fingertips there. Rolling up the spine as we inhale. Straightening through the spine. Shoulders naturally fall down and back. Head's the last thing to come up. Awesome. From here, palms flat by our side. We're going to turn up that right palm first. And inhale that right arm up. Up, 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 nice and tall. Exhale. Ooh, that's what I need today. Once again, we want to make sure we can send our drishti up into our right paw, our yogic gaze. I said paw, didn't I? Palm. Sending our gaze up into our right palm. That's our drishti, where we look. The reason we want to look up there, if it's easier for you, you can look forward, but the main reason we want to send that up there is that we don't want to concave forward like this. If you can see me, right? We want to stay upright, opening that chest. So our elbow should be in line with our head. And if we were to turn and look, our left elbow should be in line with our head and right elbow. So one way to do that is to open our front body by keeping that drishti in that right palm. Deep inhale, just into that right lung. Imagine what that's like. Try it out. Expanding that right side body, feeling that stretch as we expand the abdomen against that stretch. Exhale, see if we can go a little further. Now, if that right glute starts to float off the mat, replant it. Good exhale. Feeling that side body stretch. Turn that right hand over, palm facing the ceiling. Inhale up. Left hand comes up to meet the right. Right hand comes down, opposite side. Exhale. Match it out. I wanted to drop forward. You see my elbow start to come forward? Let's keep it open. Opening that chest. Another way that you can do this is that you can drop that right palm and stroke it across. I just came across that microphone. But you can stroke it across to keep your shoulders in one line. Opening that chest. Deep breath into the left lung. Exhale. See if you can go a little further. Keeping that left glute planted. Feeling that stretch all along that left rib cage down into that, what is that? Posterior hip flexor in the back, I guess. Really nice. Couple more breaths here. Flip that left hand over. Inhale up. Right hand meets the left. We can float those hands back down with the exhale. Awesome. Making any adjustments you need to make. We're going to send those legs straight out in front of us. Coming into staff pose. Staff pose, we can rock from side to side to widen our seat. Give us a little better base. Maybe forward and backward too. See what that's like for you. Staff pose, we want to zip our legs together. This is where that alternative view is probably a little easier for you to see if you're confused about the posture. I find it helps with stability of this pose by focusing on rooting the quads, the back of the legs, the hamstrings, down, I guess it's hamstrings, down into the floor. Engaging. Coming away from breath again. Upright spine, we're going to sink forward. Leave at the heart, shoulders down and back. It's hard, even though it doesn't seem like we're doing much. Deep inhale, arms go up. Seated forward fold variation. Exhale over the legs. And then we're going to reach forward and kind of grip whatever we can. So maybe you can grip your calves. That's awesome. Maybe you walk those hands down to your ankles. That's even better. If the ankles aren't a challenge for anymore, you can reach forward and grip those toes. You can walk your fingers down to your heels. And we want to keep a fairly straight leg here. I don't think there's any worry of over straightening the knee in this posture since the floor is there, which is one reason that a seated forward fold variation like this is really nice. You can't hyperextend that knee very easily. Just hanging out here. We're going to hang out here for a bit. Now, if you are able to grab your toes, your feet, your heels, you may notice that you can shift the location of this stretch just by kind of thinking about it. Now, I'll show you. You can push. I don't know if you can see my toes, but if you can grip your toes, you can push forward with the toes, and I feel that sensation stretch move away from my hamstring and up into my rib cage and upper back, shoulder, rear shoulder. And then if by relaxing that, so kind of engaging the biceps and bending in at the elbow, I move that stretch back down in the hamstrings, the back of the leg. So you can shift between there. Hang out wherever you need to. If you are able to grab your toes, you can try and point, flex one toe at a time. See what that's like while you hold on to those toes. Deep breath here, in case we forgot. Exhale. See if we move over. Doing great. You're doing great. All right, release that grip wherever it is. Drop that chin to the chest. Drape those fingertips slowly up the legs. Don't just drag them. Think about it. Connect with that. What does your skin feel like? What do your pants feel like? Rolling up the spine. That's a nice counter stretch there. So bending into that knee, bringing the soles of the feet together. Come into cobbler's pose. Cobbler's pose, the flats of the feet are connected in one line. We're drawing those heels in towards the pelvis, towards our root. And we're trying to draw those down. I'm sitting on my bike pack here. There we go. So we're going to try to draw those knees down towards the floor. And you can apply pressure if you like. You can apply pressure with your knees. If you're way up here, move your legs out a bit. It's better to come closer to the floor. And when you're ready to move on, we can draw those legs a little closer to the pelvis. So we can wrap 4 fingers and thumbs around the big toe if we like, or we can just grip with a cupped hand. We can grip the ankle. Nice straight back. Deep breath into the nose, just feeling this posture. If you feel like you need to rock from side to side to kind of widen that seat, get a better base. Long necks. Deep breath in. And let's exhale and see if we can fold forward slightly. So here we want to focus. It's not so much that we're bringing our head towards our feet, but we're bringing our heart towards the floor. So I don't want to see this, right? I don't want to like roll up into the spine. Nice long spine, leading with the heart. Lowering, folding forward at the hips. And we're going to hang out here. Reconnect with the breath. Each breath in sends nourishment to the sensation of stress or stretch, either one. And each breath out, we can send that out of the body, cleansing the body of that tension, those toxins that we're releasing. Deep breath in again. And exhale a little further. What happens to calories when we burn them? Do you all know? We breathe them out. Yeah. When we burn calories for energy, they actually exit our body through our breath. Breath is essential. Deep breath. Sending that new oxygen to the muscles, to the tendons, the sinews, that sensation of stretch. Exhale, relax. Where you're holding tension. Probably don't need to hold it. Well, you don't need to hold it at all, but probably don't even need to be tense wherever you're feeling it. Relax. Let your body come forward. See in pose. So slowly over time, gravity's going to have its way. It's going to draw us closer and closer towards the floor. Our job is to relax our body, be aware of ourselves in case we need to back away from something, get a little less sensation. If you're nursing any injuries, you know your body. And just relax. I feel so much about a cobbler's pose. It's just patience, getting out of our head. You can find a lot of progress in this pose in a short amount of time. If we can, there's a bit of panic with that inner hip flexing. It's the adductor. Deep breath. Our job is to be aware of our breath right now. Relax. See if you can go a little further. Challenge yourself. Keeping that spine straight as long as you can. You need to bend forward a little bit as you come closer towards the floor. That's okay. Being wherever you are right now, connecting with your breath. What would it feel like to sneak a couple inches forward? Now in these long in poses, your mind can wander. So bring it back. Be aware. Send your sensation right there. Close your eyes. Send your sensation. Send your breath in your mind's eye. Visualize the oxygen entering your esophagus down into your lungs, entering the bloodstream, sailing all the way down on those hip flexors. Send it there. Last breath. Okay, drop that chin towards the chest. Slowly We can release that grip on our feet or ankles, and we can use those hands to walk ourselves back upright, rolling up through the spine. Coming to an upright and seated position. When we reach the top, head's the last thing to come up. Grip those ankles, and we're going to come into a little counter stretch here. Let that head go back. Oh, push out with that heart. Let go of that jaw. Oh, 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 oh. Excellent. All right, now cupping our hands underneath our knees. We can bring those knees back upright. Ooh, 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 ooh. Yes, sir. And stretching them forward, coming back in a staff pose just temporarily. And seated forward fold if you want to, if you like that. And if we find ourselves upright again, we can inhale that right knee up towards our chest. Foot flat on the floor. We're going to cross that right foot over the left. That right buttock is going to want to come up. Let's rock it back down. Our goal here is to keep all four corners of our foot, 1, 2, 3, 4, flat on the floor on the opposite side of our leg. And keep both glutes on the floor. If this is enough for you, this is enough for you. That's the goal. If we'd like to go a little further, we can switch hands, take this right hand behind us, fingers pointing backward, crossing that left elbow, deep inhale, and exhale, we can come into a seated supine twist. One of my favorites. Continue to breathe. If we breathe in, imagine breathing into that right lung, it's wide open. Sending that rib cage out on that side. Exhale, go a little further. Fingertips can be up towards the ceiling or down towards the toes. And unwinding from this, inhaling, we start to come back forward. We can wrap both arms around that knee, bring that knee in towards the chest, straightening back into staff pose temporarily. Little forward fold, ooh, for counter stretch. Releasing the toes, draping the fingers up the shins, rolling back up. Left knee comes up to our chest, foot flat on the floor. Crosses left over right, all four corners of the foot on the floor, full expression of the front toes, so all 5 toes up if you've got that many. Left hand behind us, fingers pointing backward, crossing that elbow across the knee. Boy, I am stiff today. I don't know about you all. Exhale and twist. Each breath in, visualizing it coming down into that left lung that's wide open this time. Each exhalation, trying to go a little further. Might be some pops, some snaps, some cracks. That's okay. And on an inhale, we can release that pressure, unwinding here. Both hands come to the shin, bringing that knee up and towards the chest. Stretching those legs out, wiggling the toe if we like. Awesome. Okay, easy pose one more time. Upright and seated, we're going to drop that chin to the chest. Don't concave that spine. Keep straight in the spine, just let go of the head. If you'd like to, you can interlace the fingers on top of the head, not pulling here, just letting the weight of the hand draw that neck down. Releasing that head if you have it, rolling that right ear over to the right shoulder with an inhale. Feeling that stretch in the left side of the neck. We exhale that head back down to that chin back down to chest. Inhale, opposite side. Left ear, left shoulder. Drawing those shoulders down. Just relax them down. They're going to creep up. Don't let them. Exhale, come back down. Inhale, opposite side. Exhale, back center. Inhale one more time, left side. This time, exhale very carefully, very slowly. Let go of the chin. Sending it upright. Gazes towards the ceiling. If your eyes are open, inhale that right ear to right shoulder along across the back side body. Ooh, feel how that stretch changes. Goes all the way down to my pec over here. Deep inhale. Exhale, very slowly one more time. Relaxing there. Nice straight spine, long neck, shoulders down and back. Leading with the heart. Inhale, left side, left ear to left shoulder. And exhale, come forward, roll the chin back down. Awesome. With the palm of our dominant hand, we can lift or assist that head back upright. Transitioning forward, we're going to come on hands and knees. Oop. And we're going to come into a tabletop pose. I'm turning to the side so you can see a little better. In tabletop pose, if we send our gaze backward between our knees, we want to move our feet or rotate our feet so we cannot see our heels if we gaze between our legs. Hands should be about shoulder width apart. Big important thing here, we want the base of the hand. I talk about this every time. Base of the palm, right down here, in line with the elbow. Elbow in line with shoulder, right? We don't want a lot of times we'll say put your palms under your shoulders, and we think of that center of our palm. I want you to think of the base of the hand. So that's going to position your hands just slightly farther forward, maybe you're used to, but it's going to take a lot of pressure off your wrists. Retain that breath. Full expression of the fingers, all 5 fingers out. Engaging with the mat actively. We don't want to hang on our skeletons. We don't want to hang in our bones. We want to stay nice and strong. Feeling the security of this pose. A little micro bend in the elbow, not much. Just enough so we're not flipped around. You know, when you hyperextend, you can straighten through that elbow. You can kind of turn your elbows around. We want to keep those elbows to the side, nice and straight. Pushing against the floor as though you're in a push-up pose or a plank. Okay, back straight, like I could place a glass of water on your spine. It wouldn't fall, so we don't want to come down or up. That's cat and cow. And now shifting our weight slightly by sending your hips to the right. We're going to send that weight over that left knee. And we're going to lift that, that right knee. And we're going to lift that left leg off the ground, extending behind. Hovering here. So our weight's over our right knee. And if this is challenging for you with your yoga mat or lack of one, you can reach down and double over the mat or whatever you're using, your pad, for a little more padding. Check in with your wrists. You can pulsate here slightly, engaging that glute. And if that's enough for you, that's enough for you. If you'd like to move forward, we can lift that left hand up. Drishti comes with it. We want to sink into that left shoulder. Stay nice and tall. Nice and high. Don't let those arms and legs droop. Deep inhale here. Deep as you can on the exhale. Let's bring that elbow and knee together. You're a little crunchy. Squeeze all the breath out. Inhale. Extend. Exhale. We come together. Inhale. Extend. Pulse. 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 Exhale. That right hand comes down to the mat, followed by the knee. How you doing? Maybe take some pressure off that left hand and that right knee. Re-engaging with the mat. Check your alignment with your feet in tabletop pose. Pressing long necks. Re-engaging with the mat. You guessed it, opposite side. Send those hips to the left. So we send that weight over our left knee. Extend that right leg straight back behind us, engaging the glute. And if we're ready, keeping all 5 fingers of that right hand flat, lift that left hand palm up towards the ceiling. Stretching like somebody's pulling you from your big toe and your middle finger. Forward and backward. Deep inhale. Exhale, bring that knee and that elbow together. Crunching up towards the abdominal. Inhale, stretch out. Exhale, we come back together. Ooh, a dip forward. Inhale, stretching out. Nice and slow. How you doing? Y'all looking great. Exhale. Squeeze. Inhale out. Pulse, 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 pulse. And exhale that left hand down. Right hand down. We can widen those legs, those knees towards the edge of our mat. Exhale our seat over our heels, coming into child's pose. Now, child's pose is a restorative pose. Give you a chance to catch your breath a little bit. But the other thing, if we keep our hands outright in front of us, because variation is our hands come back towards our feet, our palms up towards the ceiling. And that's very relaxing. But I'm going to challenge you, keep those hands outstretched in front of us, drawing those elbows down towards the mat. So drawing those elbows at heart down towards the mat. We'll feel that stretch in the upper thoracic between the shoulder blades, the shoulders, the triceps. You can walk your fingers forward if you're not feeling it. Reconnecting with your breath each time. Deep breath in, and on the exhale, drop that seat and those elbows a little closer to the floor. An active child's pose here. Feel like a little more stretch in the lower back. You can bring those knees together on the mat. If you want to have a little more stretch in the inner thigh, you can keep those knees wide towards the edge of the mat. Couple more breaths here. And on the inhale, we're going to come forward, dropping those elbows on the floor, keeping that seat nice and high. We come into puppy dog pose, which is a great one. So butts in the air, our forearms from the elbow to the middle finger are rooted on the mat. So it's kind of like Sphinx meets half a down dog. Puppy dog pose. And deep breath as we come up on the hands into tabletop. But not for long, stretching those legs out in front of us. We can roll down the spine, coming down, 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 bending into the elbow, kind of a reverse cobra, dropping cobra here. Walking those hands in front of us. We got those elbows down one more time. Now we are in Sphinx pose. In Sphinx pose, we want to engage those hands, pressing those hands into the mat and drawing them back. That's really exaggerated. But if we drop those hands down, pull that heart forward, gaze is forward, we'll feel that stretch in the mid-lower thoracic and even in the upper lumbar. Leading with the heart, long necks. Don't sink down. Don't come down in here, right? Nice and tall. On your next exhale, and drop that heart towards the floor. Hands can come palm up. Either side, we can rest one side of your face to the floor. Reconnect with that breath. Inhaling, we place those palms, rooting them right under the shoulders. Turn those toes over in the back. Zipper those legs together. Push up prep. So we're going to draw those elbows down, keep those elbows close to the body. Long necks, gaze forward. Deep inhale. And using the power of your breath, when you're ready, engaging, pressing through all the way through the toes, from the heels all the way to the palm with a breath out. Press all the way up. You got it, you got it, you got it. Nice. We can walk those legs out slightly. Come into a high plank. If we feel pressure on the wrists, we can walk those fingers forward. We don't want our butts drooping like this. We don't want them up in the air like that. Nice and flat. Straight line. Once again, I want to be able to draw a line that I could lace a glass of water on. You got this. You're like, why is he still talking? Keep breathing. Fill that belly completely. Exhale, completely draw that navel in towards the spine. 2 more. You got this. Getting a little warm, yeah, building some heat. Tuck those elbows in towards the side, slow as you can, chaturanga down. All the way down, very nice. Turn those feet over, tops of the feet come down. And we can press up through the hands, coming through tabletop, sending that seat over the heels, back into downward facing dog again. I'm sorry, back into child's pose. You know, the lazy downward dog. Stretching those arms forward, walking those fingertips towards the top of the mat. From here, we come back up into tabletop. Just briefly. We're going to inhale, let that belly come down, send those hips up in the back. Gaze comes up towards the ceiling. Don't sink into the shoulder, nice and long. Let go of that jaw. We come into cow pose, belly's wide open, deep breath. Exhale, we come through tabletop. Drawing that spine up, opposite side, tilting that pelvis in. Chin comes to our chest, pressing, arching up through the spine. Pulling that navel in towards the spine, cat. Inhale through tabletop. Coming all the way down, gaze goes to the ceiling. And exhale through tabletop. Drawing that navel up to the spine. Press, 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 arch, arch, arch. And inhale. Last time. Head is up, jaws loose. And exhale through tabletop. Drawing the chin towards the chest, arching in the back, pressing up through the shoulders and hands. Come into cat. Nice and tall. Turn those toes over behind us. Send that seat sky high as then inhale. Now we're in downward dog. Drawing those heels towards the floor. We can walk or pedal those legs out. Once again, looking back through our legs. We're going to rotate the seat so we can rotate the feet so we cannot see our heels. There it is. Trying to draw those heels towards the floor. Micro bend in the elbow here. We don't want to hyperextend that little micro bend. Pressing up and back, ears between the shoulders. Hips nice and high. We can inhale as we releve up on the toes, nice and tall. Top of your toes, tip your toes. Exhale, rock back down. Drawing those heels back towards the floor. Bending in the knee. Coming to hovering table. So we bend in as though we're going to set our knees down, but we don't. Nice and tall. Flat back. Hover, hover, hover. Engage those abs. Stretching those toes, those Achilles tendon, the feet. You got this. You got this. Last little bit here. You have to take a little break. That's okay. Come right back into it. Finish strong. Press up. Out of the mat. And exhale, drop those knees down, turn those feet over, send that seat back over the heels. Last time for child's pose. Sinking down the mat, walking those fingertips forward. Drawing that heart towards the floor. From here, we can inhale back up to tabletop briefly. And from here, you can walk or assist that left leg up towards the top of the mat. So I'm going to draw this leg. We want to try and keep this shin parallel with the front of our mat, so in 2 lines. And that left heel is roughly in line with my right hip. You can't see that on the opposite side. Something over here. It would be here. It was the opposite side. Straightening up through the arms. Nice long necks, drawing those shoulders down and back. We come into pigeon pose. And with each exhalation, we can relax a little further. Maybe first you want to drop your Elbows down to the floor if this is in your practice. If not, staying upright, that's where you are. And dropping lower and lower to the mat as you feel your body open when you're ready, and only when you're ready. Drawing those hips towards the floor, drawing those shoulders towards the floor. Inhale those palms back to the floor, coming upright. If you'd like to try King Pigeon, now's the time. So King Pigeon, we bend into that knee behind us, that right leg. Reaching back, we can grab that right leg. With our opposite hand, if you can walk that up to the crook of your elbow, awesome. If not, be aware of your quad. Even further would be to link those fingers in a twist. Ooh, it's a bit deep for me today. And exhaling that leg back down. We can turn those toes over, pressing up, shifting our weight into our palms. We send that left leg sky high. Exhale that leg back down. Come back into tabletop. Flatten those feet down. Walk or assist that right leg up. Once again, I should have done this one first. You guys could have seen it. Shin parallel with the front of the mat. Straightening up through the spine. Top of my foot against the floor in the back. That left heel roughly in line with my left hip. The more parallel the front of my leg is towards the mat, the deeper the stretch. So if you need to like tuck that heel in a little bit towards the center of the body, that's fine. And when you're ready, exhaling down onto those elbows if you have that in your practice. And exhaling a little further, drawing the chest towards the floor if you have that in your practice. And tucking that chin to our chest, walking those hands back upright, re-engaging with the spine. If we did King Pigeon on the opposite side, you should try it here. Bending into that, yeah, that set it much better. Bending into that left leg, we can walk that hand, working that foot up towards that elbow. If that's in our practice, if we're able to shift that weight back, bring those fingers together. It's a deep stretch. Try it out if you'd like. Exhale that left leg back down whenever you're ready. Turning those toes over, shifting our weight into our hands. Inhaling that right leg up. And back, three-legged dog. Exhaling those legs back down. Downward facing dog, walking it out. Exhaling those knees back down to the floor, crossing the legs behind us, walking our hands back towards our knees. Movie magic, I'm going to turn to the side. We come to a seated position. Once in a seated position, we can stretch those feet out and behind us, moving your heels towards the end of your mat. I'm going to turn this side so you can see me. Eyes upright, hands come out to our sides, slow as you can, zip those legs together, full expression of the toes. I worked you hard enough and we'll take you through both. Slow as you can, drop those shoulders down towards the mat, coming into Shavasana or corpse pose. Slow, 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 keep breathing here. Body might be shaking, that means you're working. All the way down. Closer you get to the floor, slower you move, hold on, keep breathing. And when you reach the bottom, roll all the way down. Inhale those fingertips up towards the ceiling, palms come together. We can rock from side to side to spread the shoulder blades out on the mat. Turn those palms away, exhaling those down if we'd like. We can draw those pinky fingers down towards our heels. Opening that heart to the ceiling. Zip those legs together and then let those toes and feet fall away. Relaxing that lower back into the floor. Relaxing that mid back into the floor. Each breath in. We fill the lungs completely in order to press that back against the floor, and each breath out. We relax that breath. spine into the mat. Relaxing that upper back in the same way. Deep breath in. Using that full body to press that spine into the mat. And then exhale, we relax. Inhaling into the glutes. Squeezing those glutes, pressing them into the floor. And relax with the exhale, letting those muscles spill out, spreading wide on the floor, relaxing. Deep breath into the shoulders. Drawing the shoulder blades together, pressing those shoulder blades, the back body into the floor. Press, press, press. And relax with the exhale. Deep inhale, pressing those legs into the floor from the heel all the way up to the hamstring. Press, press, press with the inhale. And relax those feet, letting those toes fall away. And with the palms still flat against the floor, inhale into the back of those arms. Press, 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 press into the floor. From the back of your knuckles, back of your hands, your elbows, pressing down into the floor. Press, 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 and relax. Taking a mental note of the body. Running through your body like a diagnostic, head to toe. Where are you still holding pressure today? Is there tension in mind or in body that you're still holding on to? If you can become aware of it, now is the time to release it with your breath. Sending it out. It's not needed right now. Just feeling your belly gently rise and fall. Connecting with your body, noting how differently it feels now from when you started. Being grateful for the time that we've spent here together, the time you've dedicated to this. Thanking yourself now. And when you're ready, you can apply a little gentle pressure to the floor, and on an inhale, come to an upright seated position. Welcome back. Well, that was mindful yoga today for whatever this is, week 5, week 6. Sorry we had to rush the Shavasana a bit. You all did so wonderfully. I'm so happy to see so many of your faces week after week. And for our newcomers, I'm so happy to see you. I hope you join us again. Tell your friends. We're here every Friday at 4. Until they tell me otherwise. Hopefully next week will be nice weather and I can do this from outside. I've got a mobile hotspot. I really want to take it out to the street and do something outside. But it snowed here yesterday. So, happy May or whatever. Thank you all for being here. We're going to close out the practice today by taking a couple collective breaths together. Take a deep breath into the nose. Out through the mouth. In through the nose. And hold it. Listen. Out to the mouth. This last one, we can bring our hands to prayer much if you'd like. Out through the mouth. And with a little nod to yourself, showing reverence. Thank you, self. I'd like to say namaste. meaning the highest power in me, the light in me, honors and sees that light in each of you, and it truly does. So namaste. I'll see you next week. If you want to hang around for a few, I'll be here to answer any questions that you may have. I'm going to stop recording.